Yeah, what's that in the back?
Okay, so this is the scoop off the Can-Am car of John Macaluso that raced back in the 80s. So I'm going to do a sort of partial, well, modification to this. It looks like it's a Formula 5000 scoop. I had the entry, the intake chopped off it a bit, trimmed back, and I don't like the shape, so I'm going to keep most of the bodywork as it is with the original paint, but this bit I have to change. It's just a bit too ugly. Okay, somebody's hacked it off here, and I don't like it. So, yeah, we're going to add a bit to this with foam glass over it, try and do as little paintwork as we can, and make it look like nothing was ever done.
Show us on your phone the original.
Okay, so here it is back in the day of the roast. Back. Where are we here? Back in the day racing. There we go. So there's the scoop trimmed off. So you've got the front section of the car's missing. I have to make that from scratch. I've got a burnt over bit on the floor over there. That's all we've got left of the front of the car. The intake coming out of the radiator shroud. It's been a bit singed, so yeah. I've got these side panels in pieces down here. They have to be all put back together, and I'll repaint those with those hockey sticks. And I have to make a rear wing as well. But there's enough.
And there it is over up top over there. The rest of the car.
From the UK, from Belgium. This has just been there for 43 years.
Hold it on.
Walk it on and fiberglass. It
Yeah, it looks like this
it's
is
half the size.
yeah,
It's
this
like
has been cut sort of.
cut here and there.
Yeah, it looks like it's been like cut through there or something. Very urgent job this one. lucky, Mike, and you work real hard, one day too, you can have a
Can-Am.
lumps in the bog, man. Who put the lumps in the bog? Oh. Dodgy touch-ups.
Can-Am.
Broken, you'll fix it. Clears off.
Is that how you treat your fellow workers?
Yeah, right. Fellow worker.
More like resident users. Old 84.
Suspended over the track, the starter watches. The green flag is dropped and the race is on. At the stadium corner, Rowe leads Crawford with Kim Campbell's 2-liter edging in front of Cole to take third spot. The rest stream up to the clubhouse corner, a favorite passing place for many.
200-mile-per-hour Can-Am cars resulted in the creation of Lafayette Racing. Lafayette Racing developed, built, and entered Can-Am cars in this international series. With Clive as driver, the cars won 10 races in 1979 and 1980 and was Pacific National Champion in that year.
Street circuits that we go to.
Off the track at corner 9, John Macaluso. Also stationary, Ron Canizares, who climbs out of his car as Rowe and Crawford come into view.
And well, this top part of my face is plastic surgery. And if anyone wants just to kiss my left buttock, they can kiss my left cheek. So, that's in 1977. I won 3 Formula 5000 championships in 74, 5 and 6, with Mario finishing second for 2 years. And they changed the rules. They made us put bodywork on our open wheel single-seaters, and we went to San Javite in Canada for the first race, 1977, and I drove the car for the first time, and I came in after 20 minutes, and Jim Hall of Chaparral was the engineer, and he said, "How is it?" I said, "It's good." And he said, "What do you want, to change?" And I said, "Drop the front wing 1/4 of an inch." And on the next lap, at 170 miles an hour, it took off. And it went straight in the air, turned over and came down. And that broke my neck, C1. smashed this shoulder, split my breastbone, and broke my ribs. And when my wife arrived from England the next day, there was a photograph of the ambulance which blew a tyre on the way to hospital. And the doors were open, and I'm lying in the back not looking too good. The two ambulance guys are working on the wheel, and the headline in the paper was, Redman ain't more, Redman is dead. So,
there's something that Brian forgets to tell you. We are here at the Long Beach Grand Prix today. Brian won the very first Long Beach Grand Prix.
You see, that was 1975. And this whole area was like a derelict area. It was all bars, houses of ill repute, and old people's homes. That's all it was. The victory podium was the back of a pickup truck, and they couldn't find the race queen. She was found an hour later drunk on the floor of a bar. So that's what it was like in those days. And as you can see, Danny, strangely, we have the same birthday, March the 9th. Yeah, you can say I'm old enough to be his father, but there we are.
Can you paint a picture of the vehicles themselves in terms of roll bars and fuel tanks and what you were sitting in and the dangers of the proximity? I saw the cars fall apart. We don't.
Yeah. Well, of course, you know, in the 60s and early 70s, there was no thought of safety really. You know, it was Jackie Stewart's accident in the Belgian Grand Prix where he was hanging upside down, or partially upside down, with fuel flowing over him, and half the field had crashed. And there was no safety whatsoever. There was no fire equipment, there were no ambulances, there was nothing. That's how he started, why he started the big safety campaign. But in 1968, when I first drove Grand Prix Formula One cars, half the drivers didn't wear seatbelts because they'd rather be thrown out or be able to jump out in the case of fire. Fire was the big thing. And I was actually in 6 fires in a 4-year period. The bloody things, they caught fire all the time. You're driving along in the race, suddenly the engine goes, bah, 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 bah. You look in the mirrors, it's caught fire. And at the Nürburgring in 1970, in a 2-litre sports car championship race, I was leading by 2.5 minutes. It was a 300-mile race. And I come over the 14-kilometre jump in top gear. And of course, as it goes in the air, you come off the throttle. And then as it lands, you open the throttle. Well, when I opened the throttle, the engine went bop, 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 bop. And I looked at the gauges, and the fuel pressure gauge had done this. And I switched on the electric pump, which is only normally used for starting the engine. And instantly the car went bang. So I drove it about 3/4 of a mile to the nearest marshal's point. And when I got there, it was really blazing. And I jumped out, and the marshal ran away up the road.